Sorry, I have to continue. I only have a 5-minute limit. um, so he's going to ask questions like, why do you think grandma's special ingredient is so special? And then after reading, the students are going to use tablets and Jamboard, and they're going to post a one word on what they think grandma's special ingredient is after the reading and discussion. And then after that, they're going to use a sentence starter to write 3 feeling words about how they feel when they spend time with their family. So the sentence starter will be, when I spend time with my family, I feel and and mm. And they'll have a feelings chart to help them with that. The next story is visiting day. So before reading, this is important to talk with the students, again, what traditions means, but also what it means when someone goes away. So, it's a sensitive topic, so the teacher will, talk about what it means going away. Sometimes someone has to do their time, etc. And we'll also talk about, how would you feel if a parent went away? During reading, we'll talk about more about feelings, about how she feels about going to see her dad, how her dad feels about her coming to see her, what traditions they do to get ready as they're going to see, and what grandma means by when she says daddy is doing a little time. That will go into, what we talked about before reading, and then they can link it to during reading. After reading, students are going to compare, sometimes we do, at visiting day traditions and family styles. So they're going to talk about how these families are different, but also how they're the same. And then they're going to end with an exit ticket on one difference and similarity between the two. And we're going to make the similarities chart and the difference chart kind of together, so they'll have the chance to just pick from, the chart for the exit ticket. Going down home with daddy. Before reading, we'll talk about visiting family members. If you've had a reunion with your family members, again, we'll go over the traditions definition. During reading, we'll have some more turn-in talks about feelings when they're getting ready for their trip, when they get there. And then we'll even talk about why they're at grandma's, going back to that holiday, that reunion. Make sure that teacher gives an example of, like when we get all together, maybe we have a reunion, maybe we're there for Christmas or a holiday or something. And at the end, we're going to discuss the traditions and activities that took part in the text that they did during their trip to grandma's. At the end, students will draw and write about a time that they spent with their families and what they did. And each student is going to have something different. So we're going to have, a little time to discuss whole group about these certain things. So maybe students can get ideas. And they're going to add some feeling words at the time about how they felt when they were taking part in those traditions. Interdisciplinary connection, students are going to be writing their responses using sentence starters. Students will use technology using their tablet and Jamboard. Social emotional learning, students are going to be discussing their feelings throughout the lessons. And even social studies, for going down home with daddy, they can learn the history about African Americans, the farms, and the importance on ancestors. So as I was doing this text project, I learned that there are, across many cultures, a big importance on families. So I think that there are a lot of texts to choose from, like fiction books to choose from, in terms of finding a family relation, because family is a heavy theme throughout many cultures. What I liked about creating the project was I liked finding all the text. I liked that freedom of choice of picking text, and I thought there was a lot of, stories to choose from. But what I found challenging about the project is that it was kind of hard to find different genres other than fiction. Um, and then it was hard to choose the best because there were so many different stories. It was kind of hard to narrow that down and pick the best one. And then sometimes I thought integrating technology was a little bit difficult. These were, mini lessons, and with my students, it was hard to integrate. So, I thought adding that quick Jamboard in there was quick enough for them to not distract them and get that technology in. But overall, I really enjoyed, finding the different texts, and I really learned that family is important in every cultural aspect.